Filipinos Ilustres. Other homes before the war proudly display a lithograph titled Galeria de Filipinos Ilustres or Gallery of Illustrious Filipinos that is of interest to historians because it resembles a class picture of our heroes. Jose Rizal and Andres Bonifacio are seated in the center of the group. Together with Jose Burgos, Gomez and Zamora are absent. Antonio Luna, Marcelo H. Del Pilar, and Apolinario Mabini, standing in the back, are more obscure figures, including Sulueta, Paterno, Regidor, and others. These heroes were never photographed together, so this post-formal portrait is often dismissed as sketch or baduy, when it is an early work of the national artist for sculpture Guillermo E. Tolentino. The original drawing of Filipinos Ilustres was made around 1911 and was a composite from photos in history textbooks. George Pineda transferred the drawing to lithographic stone, and it became a household icon reproduced without permission from the artist who did not earn a single centavos in royalties. Tolentino did not seem to mind, and with the excitement of all young artists, was content merely to see his work in many homes. After all, he was still a student at the University of the Philippines School of Fine Arts.
The Spolarium is a painting by Filipino painter Juan Luna. Luna, working on canvas, spent 8 months completing the painting, which depicts dying gladiators. The painting was submitted by Luna to the Exposition Nacional de Bellas Artes in 1884. In Madrid, where it garnered the first gold medal out of 3, the picture recreates the spoiling scene in a Roman circus where dead gladiators are stripped of weapons and garments, together with other works of Spanish Academy. The Spolarium was on exhibit in Rome in April 1884. In 1886, the painting was sold to the provincial government of Barcelona for 2,000 pesetas. It currently hangs in the main gallery at the first floor of National Museum of Fine Arts in Manila, and is the first work of art that grants visitors upon entry into the museum. The National Museum considers it the largest painting in the Philippines. I choose Juan Luna's Spolarium because it is an excellent work that captures a rich blend of historical, artistic, and cultural value. Its strong ties to Filipino identity and history, combined with its exceptional creative qualities, make it an excellent topic for discussion. The Spolarium explores themes of persecution, creative skill, and national pride, providing a rich and multifaceted topic that resonates on many levels.
Mga study ni Manansala mula sa koleksyon ng International Rice Research Institute. Ipinapakita sa atin ng mga study o pag-aaral ng komposisyon ang simula at kwento ng isang obra. Inihahayag dito ang pagsulong ng isang manlilikha mula sa kanyang idea hanggang sa matapos niya ang isang obra. Sa ilang pagkakataon, minsan sinasabi sa atin ng isang study ang pag-aaral ng paglikha ng pintor, pagpili ng ilalarawang bagay at pagsubok ng iba't ibang materyales. Ang mga nagsanay sa klasikal na sining ay lumikha ng mga study upang buuin, pagyubungin at ganapin ang mga kanilang naiisip na likha at sa ilang pagkakataon upang ipakita ang kanilang mga ideas sa nagkomisyon sa kanilang mga obra. Sa kabuuan, ang mga study ay mapanghimok at maaari magbigay sa atin ng mga impormasyon tungkol sa mga manlilikha at ang kanilang lugar sa kasaysayan. Ang pambansang alagad ng sining na si Vincent S. Manansala taon 1910-1981 ay isang mahusay na manlilikha. Hinahangaan ang kanyang sigla sa paglikha ng sining na nagpapaunlad sa mainit at pagpatuloy na suporta ng mga kolektor at mga bisita ng exhibition. Nang lumipas siya sa Binangonan, Rizal, dumadayo ang kaibigan niya na makikisalo sa espesyal na ihinahanda ng pagkain ng kanyang may bahay na si Gilda, at kumukuha sila ng mga minimithing mga obra na maaaring kakatapos ng gawin ni Manansala. Ang kanyang mga nakakamangha mga likha ay higit na kahanga-hanga dahil sa dami ng mga study, mga guhit, ipinintan larawan gamit ang mga medium na inilarawan sa papel na nilikha bago simulan ng obra. Karamihan sa mga pangunahing obra ni Manansala ay pininta sa malaking sukat, madalas 2x4 metro, at layo na ilagay sa pampubliko o institusyonal na lugar. Iisa lang ang tunay na mural na direktang ipininta sa pader ang Arts and Science taong 1960 sa labi ng Palm Hall sa Universidad ng Pilipinas sa Diliman, lungsod ng Quezon. Ang dalawang obra na hinumisyon ipagawa ng International Rice Research Institute, IRRI, ay kabilang sa malaking niyang nilikha at tumatanggap na marami papuri dahil sa klasikal ngunit nagpapaalala ng mga lugar sa Los Baños, Laguna, ang lugar na kinaroroonan ng IRRI. Mabuti na lang at itinapon ng IRRI ang mga huling study na parehong gawa sa watercolor na hanggang ngayon ay buhay na buhay at makikitang binuo na may sigla. Maaaring ginamit ni Manansala ang mga ito upang ipakita ang kanyang mukhaing komposisyon sa tanyag niyang kliyente. Tulad ng natapos na obra, nakais ang bawat study sa 3 bahagi ng pahiga ang forma. Ang hindi pagpirma ng nanatiling gawi para sa mga study, mga ito ay katunayan ng karunungan ni Manansala sa paggamit ng medium na ito. Nagpapakita ang kanyang galing sa pagguhit ng may tamang mga sukat at husay na pagbuo ng obra. Paalala rin ng mga ito ng kanyang kahusayan sa kanyang propesyon at paglikha ng mahalagang propesyon sa sining. Ang isa pang study ay kaloob ni Manansala para sa IRRI. Maaaring study ito para sa isa sa mga likha niya mula sa Film Life series na matatagpuan sa bulwagan ng Film Life. Kinomisyon ng mga ito 1 taon bago ang IRRI, kabilang sa serye Ang Pamilya, nakapansin-pansin bilang sa mga karaniwang itinatampok ni Manansala sa kanyang mga obra. Gayunpaman ay nagpapatuloy ang pangunahing temang ito at binubuo ng 4 na miyembro ng pamilya, kabilang ang ama, ina, buhat-buhat ang kanyang sanggol, at isang munting bata na sumasabit ng panalangin sa harap ng hapagkainan. Sa mga naunang bersyon, tila madaling tumatatak ang pamagat na ang pamilya sa oras ng pagkain. Gayunpaman, sa gitna ng maraming mga kahawig na tema, ang study na pinakamalapit dito ang obra mula sa serya ng Film Life at ang nagkaroon ng pagkakataon ng pambansang museo na itanghal ito kapalit ng tipunan sa kasulukuyan sa paraang maaaring magtampalan 2 serye ng obra na nagpapakita ng lakas, tibay at dangal sa parangal ng paglikha ni Manansala sa ganitong estilo, gayon din ang kanyang husay sa pagkakaiba ng kanyang mga obra.
The Old Senate Session Hall of the Philippines. The Old Session Hall of the Senate of the Philippines is the chamber like no other in the country, soaring 3 stories to the top of the old legislative building. The hall was clearly intended to be nothing less than a secular cathedral, a temple of wisdom, of enlightened debate and making of laws. During the early 1920s, in the American colonial period, when the architect Juan Arellano was revising the plans of Ralph Harrington Doan in order to convert the building from the museum and library it was originally designed to be into the seat of the legislature. The Senate was led by Manuel L. Quezon, the leader of the movement for the Philippine independence from the United States. With his strong personal aesthetics, tastes, and deep belief in the need to promote confidence and respect by the Americans in the nascent all Filipino institutions, it is highly probable that Quezon worked with Arellano on the dimensions and decoration of the section hall. The most impressive features of the hall, taking full advantage of the architectural space, are undoubtedly the series of Corinthian columns and pilasters, the main wall above the rostrum, its fretwork and garlands, and most of all, the sculptural groupings surrounding the top of the hall. The ornamentation and all other decoration in the hall was the work of the most celebrated Filipino sculptor of the time, Isabelo Tampinco, and his son Angel and Vidal. Tampinco gave full rein to his deep knowledge of classical sculpture, as well as his personal artistic mission of Filipinizing many of traditionally Western elements and motifs of the neoclassical style. The result, an entablature of great lawmakers and moralists through history and allegorical groupings, was and remains to this day an outstanding and unique achievement in Philippine art. The standing figures of the entablature represent great lawmakers and moralists of history ranging from antiquity and biblical times to the 20th century, and include Calantiao and Apolinario Mabini on the east wall, Pope Leo XIII and Woodrow Wilson on the west wall, Moses and Hammurabi, Rameses the Great, Lisi, Augustus and William Blackstone on the north wall, and Solon, Averroes, Justinian, Manu, Charlemagne, and Hugo Grotius on the south wall. Surrounding the touches on the four walls are allegorical groupings representing progress, arts and culture, industry, trade, agriculture, education, and so forth. Presided by Senate President Quezon, the Senate in this hall served as principal forum of the promotion of Philippine independence, which culminated in the acceptance of the Tidings-McDuffie Law in 1934 that provided for a constitution, a transitory autonomous commonwealth, and full independence in 1946. Here the last American Governor-General, Frank Murphy, gave his final address to the legislature on the day before the Commonwealth of the Philippines, and Manuel L. Quezon as its president, were inaugurated on the front step of the building. During the Commonwealth, when the legislature became a unicameral National Assembly, the sessions alternated between here and the Old House Session Hall below, before settling in the upper chamber. Under the Japanese occupation, the Senate Session Hall was the seat of the National Assembly, and many historic addresses to the country by President Jose P. Laurel. When the Battle of Manila was fought in February 1945, the Imperial Japanese forces used the Legislative Building to make one of their last stands in the city in the face of the American assault. After pummeling by heavy artillery, most of the building lay in complete ruin. The central core of the building, including the session hall, however, survived basically intact, although burned out and heavily damaged. When the building was rebuilt in 1949, the session hall was repaired according to the original design, but at some point, plans are changed and the hall was segmented vertically into two chambers. The ornamentation of the main wall was segmented and truncated. Over time, more interventions took place, obscuring further the sense of the architectural space. Nonetheless, the hall continued to serve the Philippine Senate between 1949 and the Declaration of Martial Law in 1972, and after the restoration of democracy, from 1987 until 1996, when the Senate transferred to the GSIS building in Pasay City. The hall, together with the entire building, was subsequently entrusted to the National Museum, together with the mandate enshrined in its 1998 Charter to preserve the Senate Session Hall as a tribute to the legacy of the great men and women of the Philippine Senate for their invaluable contribution to the Filipino people. As a relic where democracy and freedom reign and events of national significance transpired. Between 2010 and 2012, the National Museum embarked on the comprehensive restoration of the old Senate Session Hall, with the objective of returning it to its original dimensions and grandeur, celebrating its unique importance as a monument of architecture and art, and reestablishing important historical association. Above all, the pre-war period that was defined by the peaceful movement for national independence.
The art protest of Federico Aguilar Alcua's national artist, an exhibition of his public work from the GSIS collection. Introduction to the exhibition. The National Museum takes pride in exhibiting the non-Ruben tapestries, art protest of Federico Aguilar Alcua's, one of the well-known masterworks of the artist from the collection of the Government Service Insurance System, GSIS. This phase of his career started when he met a Czech artist. Little is known of his identity today. In 1970, who introduced him to the newly created art protest textile college technique of non-woven tapestry, compelling Alcuas to create his own. Art protest making took place in the premises of Lianena Textile Company in BRNO. In this set of 20 art protests, Alcuas made art in an unusual manner, creating the non-woven tapestry by first preparing the wool, which come in row sheets dyed in different colors. He would then cut pieces, some of which he placed on top of one another like a collage. The finished layer were then pressed through a machine and bound together into a fabric. The art product exhibition represent work from 1970 to 1980. Conceived and designed by Alcuas in BRNO, Barcelona and Manila, and eventually brought to Vienna factory in BRNO for execution. His audacious view of art making, resulting in expressing his perspectives on re-evaluating art, continues to be admired by his peers and followers. In this art protest, Alcuas mastered creating a painterly abstraction with an unusual medium. Having lost primacy over many decades, art protest is now seeing a revival and have the makings of gaining popularity among contemporary artists and new audiences. Artist profile. National artist Federico Aguilar Alcuas, 1932 to 2011, has been considered by many as one of the greatest artists in the field of abstraction and modernism. While studying at the Ateneo Law School in 1950s, he also took up fine arts at the University of the Philippines, where he was mentored by leading painter Fernando Omarsolo and sculptor Guillermo Tolentino, both later named as national artists. Alcuas not only obtained a degree there but also an Associate of Arts degree at San Beda College. Eventually, his talent earned him a scholarship from the Spanish government to study at the Academia de Bellas Artes de San Fernando in Madrid, through the recommendation of fellow artist Fernando Zobel. Alcuas received various Philippine and international recognitions, including the Decoration of Arts, Letters and Science Award 1964, and the Order of French Genius in 1964 from the French government. Moreover, he was confirmed the Presidential Medal of Merit by President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo in 2007. In 2009, he was proclaimed National Artist for Visual Arts. His works are in the collection of various museums and major cultural institutions, both in the Philippines and around the world. His art ranging from paintings and landscape portraits and abstract to ceramics and art protests.
You gotta feel that heat.